Okay, our chapter today, one of the most interesting chapters of grade 8 is called direct and inverse variation. And inverse variation. Now, this chapter is not something like algebra. This chapter is not something like square root where you'll understand a technique of mathematics. This is a daily life oriented chapter, okay, where we have to have our logic correctly to solve the problem. Okay, first try to understand. So the chapter talks about a word called variation. So variation comes from the word which is known as vary. Vary means there is something is going to change. Something is going to change. There's a variation. There's a lot of variation in the bowling line of his. There's a lot of variation in his performance. Means his performance is not going straight. So whenever we ask about this word vary means there is something. A synonymous word can be that there is going to something is going to differ. Now, what is going to differ? So since we are in mathematics, we will say there will be some quantity, and I would put this quantity as two quantities, a quantity 1 and a quantity 2. And I'll give you an example, don't worry. A quantity 1 and a quantity 2, and these quantity 1 and quantity 2 would be interrelated. There will be some relation between them, interrelated. Let's understand, then let's go by the example, interrelated. And we will see how these quantities vary. Vary means if I change this one, how does this change? Or vice versa. Which means if I change this particular quantity, how does this change? So let us understand. Chapter is all about understanding variation. Like if I am very friendly with you, automatically on your face there will be smile. If I start getting strict and scold, your smile will slowly dwindle away. So that's called one quantity may be my temperament, one quantity may be your temperament. How does these two quantities vary? Based on the change in one. If I become angry, then obviously you will not be able to smile. You will also change. Have you understood? So we will have two quantities in this chapter, and the entire concept of solving problems correctly happens when you understand the behavior between these two quantities, which will be very much based on common sense. Another thing you need in this chapter is the ability to understand English. And then another concept you will need is common sense. Now, these two are all very dangerous things. Common sense, first of all, is not common. Common sense is not common. They call it common sense, but it is not common. And English, which you feel you are very good at, you'll be tested very badly out here. You will actually land up in problem in English. So what I say, if you think that you have an alternate language, or if you have an alternate language, which can be your mother tongue or any other language, maybe the Swahili tribe of Africa also, I don't mind. Try to bring the problem, whatever problem will be given, try to bring the problem from English to this language so that you are able to understand. Unless you understand, you will solve it wrong. There is no formula out here. What you have to understand? What is the interrelationship? This is the most important part of this chapter, which you are thinking is very easy. So all we need to solve this chapter is ability to read English. If we are understanding in English, very good. But my experience is children do golmaal here only. Although they speak every day in English, they don't like to speak in their mother tongue. That's a different thing. And common sense, they don't exercise that. Because they first try to hunt, is there a formula? That is, they try to look for a screwdriver. Is there a formula? And we will fit the problem out here. If you try to do this, then you will get a 0 on 98%. 2 times maybe you will be able to solve. 98 occasions you'll get 0. So have we understood? And it's now this, I explained it in a very negative manner to you. Now if you shall see the positive part of this chapter, if I see the positive part, you'll say, sir, you explained everything so negatively. Then this whole chapter has got a lovely story. And all you have to do is to understand the story and then solve it, which I feel is much more easy as a perspective from the previous one that I said. Have we understood? Now we will have two quantities in this chapter, and we will see how these two quantities vary. Let's say I have one quantity called temperature. Temperature means the day temperature. Another quantity is, say, sale of ice cream. Have you understood? These are two quantities. You yourself ask, if you have common sense, how will they be related? If the temperature goes up, the ice cream sale also should go up. Yes, right? Not melt, it's a sale, I'm saying sale. Think that you are at a store. So obviously your sale of ice cream, it's not a reason that people will not buy it in winters. People eat ice creams in winters also. But if the temperature goes up, the ice cream sale should go up. This is a common sense. Let's say another question. Say, let's say quantity of things bought and let's say the bill amount. Think yourself. You have gone to a store, you're buying one pen, the price is say 15 rupees. If the number of pens you're buying goes on increasing, what about the bill amount? Bill amount also increases. Are we understanding this thing? Let's see something more. Let's say the speed of my car and the time taken to reach a destination. Now see here, this is very interesting. Always try to ask, what happens if I increase or decrease this? The distance to the destination always remains constant. From my house to in-orbit mall, it never changes. What changes is the time that I take to reach that mall. Agreed? So what do you see here? If you increase the speed, the time comes down, right? Okay. If I try to put it in this way, fuel consumption versus distance. The more distance I travel, the more fuel I'll consume. So based on all these discussions, don't you think the type of discussions we had can be classified into two types? Quantity 1 and this is say quantity 2. And another type of discussion we had was quantity 1 and quantity 2. Try and understand. First, we took a lot of things like what happens if we increase the temperature of a day? What happens to the ice cream? The ice cream sale goes up. What happens if we increase the articles purchased? The bill amount also goes up. What happens if we increase the distance traveled? Then the time also goes up. Sorry, the fuel also goes up. Obviously, the time will also go up. If we increase the distance, the time taken will be also more. So here what we are seeing, if these are true, don't you think their reverse will also be true? If the temperature dips, the ice cream sale should also dip. If we buy less items, our bill amount will be less. If we travel less distance, we will consume less fuel. Understood? Such a scenario where if on increasing one quantity, if you increase quantity 1, if you see that there is an increase in quantity 2, or if you see that if you decrease quantity 1 and you also see that there is a decrease in quantity 2, this type of a variation is known as direct variation. Direct. I jack up this goes up. I jack this down, this comes down. Easy. Have you understood the concept? So whenever you get a problem, you should first ask yourself in English or mother tongue, then how are these two quantities related? And you may not get a direct answer. So the best way to get a direct answer is try to do some sort of questions to yourself. If I increase this, does this increase? Yes. If I decrease this, does this decrease? Yes. That is where your common sense will be needed. And if your common sense says that yes, then you are doing problems on direct variation. Examples I already gave you. Temperature of a day, sale of ice cream, then quantity of things bought versus bill amount. Third, can be also like distance traveled and time taken. Distance traveled, fuel consumed. Can anyone give me another example of direct variation? सोचो तो real life में. Yeah, so rather than writing, we can say typing. The more typing of the more content you type, the more time taken. The more number of shirts I want to stitch, more is the length of cloth that I will need. The more sweetness you want, more is the quantity of sugar that you'll put. The more you run, the more tired. We cannot say that subjective. The more energy or calories you will burn. Yes or no? The more calories you will burn. So you have understood. So whenever we are having, so let's say one more question. If we have more children in a hostel, do we need less food or more food? More food. So if the number of count comes down, the food count demand also comes down. Understood? Number of children versus bus space. So many examples. If more children go to the same school, you need to have buses with more number of seats. Bus capacity needs to be more. Understood? Okay. Let's try to see this one now. Here we gave an example. We said that let's talk about speed and let's talk about time. So if we increase the speed, we see that the time is coming down. Have you seen? Here there is a ulta behavior that you are seeing. Now, if you reduce the speed, obviously the time taken will go up. Nothing new. Let's put another example. Let's say I have got a very big house and I employ one person to mop my house. She takes more time. If I increase manpower, my time will come down. So we can write here manpower. This is a very nice example. Manpower versus time taken. If you increase manpower, time will come down. If you reduce manpower, time will go up. Have we understood this? Matter, energy. If matter increases, energy quantity comes down. Very nice. So here we say, if on increasing quantity 1, you see a decrease in quantity 2, or if you decrease quantity 1, you see an increase in quantity 2, then such a variation is known as inverse or indirect. Inverse, or we call it indirect variation. A lovely example is the more higher we are going up in grades, the less we are studying. The more we are aging, the more disobedient we are becoming. The more exam is coming near, the more Mishka is having remote of TV near. Direct variation. The more the exam is near, the more is the scolding from the parent. Inverse variation for a good child. As my child is aging, my worries are coming down. He or she is taking care of herself. In such a case, inverse variation. The more Mishka is going higher up the classes, the less she is spending time with the remote. Inverse variation. The more the child is growing, the more she is finicky with the food. Direct variation. Understood? Now the problem is, so you got a fair idea now what is direct and what is indirect. Direct means this quantity increase, this one increase. This indirect means this one increase, this one decreases, this one decreases, this one increases. The challenge in this chapter, whether you are doing R.S. Agarwal, R.D. Sharma or any Sharma book you are doing, is that every book for this chapter will have 2 exercises. One exercise will be dedicated to direct variation. One exercise will be dedicated to inverse variation. You have a match after this. You're looking at the watch, so I said. So once you solve problems from R.S. Agarwal or R.D. Sharma, what will happen? You get biased. Because you know exercise 19A or 10A, whatever it is all direct. Your brain does not start thinking. And you know 19B is all indirect. But in the examination, only one love letter will come to you. Either of one. How do you understand whether that problem is direct or indirect? That is the challenge. Even in class test and exam, they won't give you 2 problems, they'll give you 1 problem. Now you have to understand whether this problem is from direct variation or indirect. For that, you will be needing a lot of reliance on whatever I said. Otherwise, you can memorize, oh, farmer problem is from that extent. Soldiers died in a fort, that problem is from there. That is idiot's way of doing. Have you understood? Okay. Before we proceed more towards doing problem, let's understand one more story, a beautiful story of distance. This concept you should know: speed and time. Distance is always related with the formula speed multiplied by time. Distance is always speed into time. Have you understood? So if you try to see, like we saw pressure, force and area. So let's say we take speed. Speed becomes what? Distance by time. So you will automatically answer now. Distance. Who is the denominator? Time is the denominator. Now, if I increase the denominator of any fraction, what happens to the quotient? Quotient reduces. See, common sense is not working. Otherwise, you all would have answered, "Array, these are mangoes." Understood? And these are eaten by fellows. 2 mangoes eaten by 2 fellow. How much does each fellow get? 1 mango. If you now bring 2 more fellows out here, what happens to the share? The share increases or reduces? It reduces. That means if the denominator increases, the quotient decreases. And if you actually reduce, let's say 3 children gone, you reduce, then the share increases? Right. So you understood. If you reduce this should go up. This is what we studied just now. Now, if you reduce the denominator, the quotient always goes up. If you increase the denominator, the quotient comes down. But in numerator, it is opposite. If you increase this will increase. Just try and see. The more number of mangoes, the more is the per person share. Understood? The more the speed, the more distance, speed is equal to distance upon time. So if you increase the distance, the speed has to be increased if you want to keep the time constant. I want to reach the same far off distance in the same time of 1 hour. Sir, please jack up your speed. As simple as that. Have you understood? This type of things. Another is, you should also understand the concept of food consumption, food and head count. How is the relation? Just try to understand. If the head count increases, what about the demand? The demand for food increases. Plus, food can be now studied under 2 concepts: the demand for food, or another would be number of days availability. Now, Shreyas is one bacha at his home, and there are say 12 Maggie packets. If you bring me another Maggie liking guy in his house, the number of days of availability of his Maggie stock will come down automatically, because 2 more of us join, it will come down drastically. And all of us, when we say bye Shreya, see you tomorrow, this again goes up. Concept understood? Okay? Shall we go into the mathematics now? Anyone has any doubt so far in this story? Like what is direct variation, what is inverse variation or indirect variation? Will you be able to explain if a person tells you? I'm not asking about the bookish definition. Can you now make a 4th grader or a 5th grader child sit beside you and explain him what is the concept of direct variation? Will you be able to explain? A direct variation between 2 quantities means if one quantity increases, the other quantity automatically increases, or if one quantity reduces, the other quantity. It's a direct variation. And inverse means ulta, or indirect means just the opposite. If you increase one, the other quantity decreases. If you decrease this, the other quantity increases. Like pressure is equal to force upon area. So pressure and area are inversely related. If you increase the area, the pressure falls. If you reduce the area, that garden hose pipe, if you reduce the area, the pressure increases. Understood? So let's see in terms of mathematics how we study this. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we'll first understand everything about direct variation. Direct variation, and this is very important chapter from higher grade physics perspective, otherwise even from 9 onwards. So let's say we have 2 quantities. Let's say we have quantity 1 and we are denoting this quantity as x, right? And we have quantity 2 and we are denoting this as y. right? And we say both the quantities are directly related. Directly related. So we write it like this. We write it x varies. Now varies is written like this. See, you can once again see how the vary symbol is written like this. It's like a forceps sort of thing. Or this is actually Greek letter alpha. We use it. You can write it. It's like varies. Right? Can you? Hope you have been able to write now. Okay, this is the symbol for varies. X varies directly with Y. This is how we write. This means X varies directly with Y. And we can also say Y varies directly with X. The same thing. Because in maths, we don't write so much of English. We will rely more on symbols. And I hope you have understood now how to write. Okay? So one of the example of this would be, our example would be food demand varies directly with head count. This is how we write. Varies directly with head count. This is understood. Or like you have studied, pressure varies directly with force. Greater the force, greater the pressure. Understood? Direct variation. So, in maths, we always want to find out data. So this doesn't still help me finding out data. So let's see how it is. So coming back from here once again, after the examples, we say X varies directly with Y. But in mathematics, this is not very important for us. We want equal to, because we need to find data. So if you replace this with equal to, obviously, and implies that or symbol comes up, as I keep saying. And on this side, I will have X. Now, we will write Y definitely out here, but we will write some new item called K. X is equal to some K multiplied by Y. Where this K is known as, K will always be a constant. Its value will never change. And this is called constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality. X is equal to K upon Y. Have you understood? This is known as the constant of proportionality. Might be, as of now, you might be really worried about that. Ye sab sir kya likh raha hai? I am not understanding, but very easy. Let me tell you. Let's say the price of one Pentonic pen is 10 rupees, right? What is the price of a Pentonic pen, beta? 10 rupees. Our friend Mishka is buying 7 pens, right? And this side, what I am writing, I will write definitely 70. This is what? Bill amount. This is what? Quantity. This is what? Price. Does this ever change in the shop? No, this is constant. See, the same thing written like this. Bill amount is equal to price into quantity. That means if our Mishka tries to do something like this, bill amount divided by quantity, and this is we are trying to do for Mishka, and in the same shop we are trying to do this again, bill amount divided by quantity, and we are trying to do this, say, for Sarvesh. Okay, in both the cases, don't you think we should get price? And how can the price differ? The shop does not love them separately, they love the same way. So let's see, let's put some figures now. Mishka had a bill amount of 70, which means she bought 7 pens. And our friend had a bill amount of 100 because he brought 10 pens. Both their quantities do not match. Both their bill amount do not match. But what matches is the price. which is the constant of proportionality. So once you know this constant, this is nothing but the K that we were looking for. This is the K. Every direct variation problem will have a K, and your job is to hunt this K. Not variable. The constant of proportionality has a constant value which is given by K. That's why it's known as constant. Never use the word variable. It can't vary. What varies? See here, Sarvesh. What varies? Either your quantity of pens purchased can vary or your bill amount will vary. But the shop will always have the price fixed. Have you understood this? That's why we call constant of proportionality. That means in every direct variation problem, and what are the problems of direct variation? Food to head count, distance to fuel, distance to time, pressure to force, or quantity to bill amount. All these items will have one hidden K. Our job is to find that K. Once you find the K, then solving the problem is very easy. So in order to find the K, if I try to write the formula for getting K here, don't you think x upon y gives you K? Which is very easy. You need to understand, because in the problem nothing will be written as x. They will say a man goes to a place and covers this and this. Tell us how much time he will take if he covers this. Now you have to understand, what do I take as x? Huh? X by K, that doesn't make any sense. It's always x upon y. Our job is to get to know the value of K, the constant of proportionality. X by K is y, I also know, but that does not help me. That's of no use for me. My use is to see, after, say, suppose Mishka is my classmate, Sharvesh is my classmate. After looking at both their bills, will my requirement be same as both of them? Never. If I want to go to the same shop, all I would be interested is, what is the price of the Pentonic pen? Based on that, I will decide my quantity. So I had a look at your bill. I had a look at his bill. What do I get to know? I'm least bothered how many you all bought. I got to know what is the price of the pen. So next time when I'm going to buy my quantity, I'll take my money accordingly. Have we understood? Clear? Sure. Okay. Does anyone have anything to ask out here? So whenever we say a quantity varies directly with another quantity, the first step we write is like this. The second step we write is like this. So we'll say bill amount varies directly to quantity. Bill amount is equal to K into quantity, where in that scenario, K tells me about the price. Simple. Distance equal to speed into time. Speed tells me is the constant out there. If you keep the speed constant, suppose I drive my car always at 60 kilometers per hour. Now to travel this much distance, I will take some time. If I increase my distance and keep my speed constant, I'll take more time. Simple.
So we can say, for example, you say pressure equals to force.
Pressure equals to force by area.
We can say area is the constant.
1 upon area is the constant of proportionality. Area is a denominator. The constant of proportionality always marries straight away. 1 upon area is the constant of proportionality in that, not area. Okay? So let's see one more example now. Let's say, let me make one matrix and see whether you all are able to understand what I actually tried to tell you. So let's make one matrix, interesting matrix. So let's make one matrix like this, okay? And let's make some divisions into it. And our divisions are, let's try and understand, children. Enjoy maths first. Okay. Let's say we have a quantity X. We don't know what it is. We have a quantity Y. Understood? And the data they have given to us is, when X is 5, Y is 15. When X is 5, Y is 15. And they are populating some more data. Say this is 4, this is 7, and this is 9. Find the respective values of Y. Okay. This is like the bill of Mishka has been given. This is Sarvesh. This is Charvik's. This is, say, Ekaksh, what he bought. We have to find the bill quantity for everyone in step by step, right? How we solve such problems. and it is given to you, the problem says it is given to you at the start of the problem that x varies directly with y. According to me, once they tell this thing, I am happy. I don't need any more data. I don't need any more data. Because if this is true, then I can write x is equal to some constant k into y, and I can write x by y should be equal to k, right? And in my mind, I think that this was Mishka. So this was x1, this was her y1. This is x2, which is Sarvesh. His y2, I don't know. This is x3 Charvik. His y3, I don't know. x4 Rayan, y4 Rayan, I don't know. This is what they've asked us to find out. But don't you think your happiness should also tell x by y is always a constant? So whatever value I get by doing x by y should be same for this, should be same for this, should be same for this. Do you agree? That means in every case my x is equal to how much? K times y. Or if I try to find out y, then I will say it is x upon k. Understood? Right. So yeah, x is equal to varies directly is y. So let's try to plot this. Even this one is not required now. You can just plot straight away. Can you now tell me, considering Mishka's purchase, can you populate the data out here? So Mishka, x is equal to k times of y. 5 is equal to k times 15. Agreed? Becomes a little bit complicated. Let's do one thing for easy purpose. Next problem we'll do like that. Let me just swap them. Otherwise, first problem itself you will get angry. Let's make it y and this is x. All right. So let me write this once again. Otherwise, you will get unhappy. So we say x is directly proportional to y. No issues. X is directly proportional to y. So what is the finding that you get? You get x is equal to some k times into y. That means if I have a x1, it should be k times y1. If I have a x2, it should be k times y2. If I have a x3, it should be k times y3. And similarly, if I have a xn, it should be k times yn. Simple. y1, y2, y3, y4 we have to find. Right? Sorry. Now these also need to change in that case. Because the top layer is y now and the bottom layer is x. Okay. So let's change them also and make them. This is our y1, y2, y3, 4, x1, x2, x3, x4. So in order to get all these values, all we need is the value of k. Can you find out k from Mishka's data? K is equal to x1 upon y1. And in the case of Mishka, this x1 is how much? 15. And y is how much? 5. So k's value is 3. That means 3 is the price of that pen. Our fellow bought 4 pens. How much should he pay? 12, 21. Different values, different values. But what is constant is k. Understood? So some problems we get in this order where what they will do, they will actually give you one data here, one data here, one more data here. So all you have to do is find out the value of k and start populating that data. Okay? So if we let's see whether we have some sort of a problem like that, and let's try to do that problem. Direct and inverse variation here is 158. Okay. So also we follow this book, R.S. Agarwal. I had told you once. Okay. So let's take a problem. Not here. Let's take the problem in. Anyone has an R.D. Sharma right now with him? Yes, you have. No? Give it. They have more of these problems. So it's easy for us to understand initially. Got it. I'll draw the problem. Don't worry. Okay. The direct was 10.1. Okay. Okay. Let me take one problem and let us do this. I'll draw the matrix for you. You need not worry. Take your time to understand and populate the matrix. Okay. So a matrix is given to you in this order. No worries, you do it from here. No need to open book. Akash, can you mute your sign? Your video is not there. Can you mute your camera at least? Yeah, logic problem. And it is given to you, x varies directly with y. Can you populate this? Yeah. K is 2 in this case. Absolutely correct. So we are seeing that there is a double. So how much should this value be? 4. How much should this value be? How much is this value be? Do you think this is tough? Absolutely easy. Shall we do one more? Shreya, समझ में आया तो? Yeah. What you didn't understand? What you didn't understand? Tell me, I'll help you. What you didn't understand? Did you attend the class properly so far? What is direct variation? Tell me then. Now don't look at your book. Why do you look at your book? You look at me. What is direct variation? Why you can't explain? I want that explanation. I want the explanation. You're not going to look at the book. It's a simple story in English we are talking about. I am very cool, but I will lose my cool if you are not attentive in class. I don't think I explained that badly. Yes, then why can't you explain me what is direct variation? Why do you need to look at your book? This is no mathematics. Tell me what is direct variation. Give me example. I don't want definition. I don't want definition. Explain it to somebody younger than you. That's what I say. If you are studying, you have to learn. You're not learning. You're trying to you're trying to solve a, what is direct variation? Sarvesh, tell me what is that?
Quantity 1 and quantity 2 increase, like if quantity 1 increases, quantity 2
increases. And if quantity 1 drops, quantity 2 drops. What was so difficult in understanding that? And in such a case, the increase or decrease will always happen with a constant rate. What was the pen example that I gave? Can you explain me the pen example once again? The pen and the bills, yeah. Take it easy. I'm not angry at you at all. Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Quantity was 7.
Right.
70 by 7 is equal to 10.
Why are we dividing?
We
We can find the value of k. So why are you not hunting the value of k here?
2.55.
You do 2.5 by 5, then also you will get the value. But is it easy to do 2.5 by 5 or is it easy to do 5 by 2.5? What is 2.5 and 5? How are 2.5 and 5 related? If anyone asks you a question. 5 is double of 2.5. As simple as that. Be very simple. That's why I said this chapter will test your skills of knowing the language of English. Do you understand English and do you have common sense? Now are you able to relate what I said in the very first? 5 is double of 2.5. 5 is double of 2.5. So whatever the number here is, it should be double of the number here. So what should be the number here? Whatever the number is, it should be the double of this. So the number here is, so what should be here? And whatever the number is, it should be the double of this. You did it. Don't get into the habit of writing, reading it. If I ask you what is your name, will you run to your grandmom or something and say, take out my birth certificate? He's asking my name. Then what are we? We are idiots, na? That means you are lacking common sense. Understood? Somebody asks you, which state do you reside in? State. Hey, state you don't know. No, I know I'm in Pebble City. I'm in Hyderabad. You don't know state. No, grandma, open that India's map. Then you start opening India's map in your son, which state you say. You will give a right answer. But in the society, we will call you what? IDIOT. So this problem is same. IDIOT if you are not using common sense. So let's populate. Okay. Now, saying so, this problem will be solved. Next one will be solved by Abhiyan only and me. And no one else opens their mouth and no one else does anything. Abhiyan, ready? So let's do 3, 4.5. And again, they are directly related. 7.5, 13.25. And on top, we have 9. And here we have 15. Okay, Abhiyan? Forget everything. Let's use common sense. We don't know anything about direct and inverse variation. Is there one column where denominator and numerator both are given to you? There are 2 such columns I see. Both are given. From here, can we at least find the story? We can find the story. What do we see? The head of the person is double the tail of the person. Is this much have you understood? If you have understood this much, you do not need any other item to solve any knowledge. You don't need direct inverse, and they are directly related. Given that they are directly related, X is directly related to Y. So his tail is given. Can you construct his head? Head is how much? Wow. Tail is given. Head is how much? 13's double is 26. 0.25's double is 0.5. Very good. Did you need any sort of direct inverse variation knowledge to solve this? All you needed was what? Common sense, which you did not apply in the previous problem. Do you agree? Any maths required? If you can't solve this, then the only thing you can do is open the window and jump out of it. Obviously from your own house, not from my house, because I should not land up in trouble. This is as simple as that. Agreed? Shall we take up one problem now? Let's take up one question, okay? This is one type of question which may come as a 1 marker or 2 marker. If you have very good luck, then such problems will come. But such problems usually don't come, okay? Such problems usually don't come. So let's say I'm giving a problem and let's see how this problem is to be done. Because children, once you start doing these problems, you'll find them so easy. You will be more eager, and that problem goes with Sarvesh. He will be more eager to tell the answer because he will decode the logic, but you know, I will always give a 0 in that. How you write it is more important. Okay, so question is something like a car. You need not write. You just enjoy the problem. A car travels, okay, very easy problem, 432 kilometers. So a car travels 432 kilometers on 48 liters of petrol or fuel. Okay, this is the question is given on petrol, and further says that how far would it travel on 20 liters of petrol? So it says how far will it travel? How far will it travel on 20 liters of petrol? Now, I think Charvik, you will feel that these are unitary method problems we have done in previous class also. You can do this problem even with common sense. In 48 liter, I go this much. In 1 liter, I will go this much. Therefore, in 20 liter, I'll go this much. But this is not a chapter of unitary method. This chapter is of, he's gone into race, 3 idiot. For nitrate and pre-radicalization, he's hunting those two. So here what we are interested is, we'll do it by direct inverse. So we should know how to do this problem. So let's see what are the steps we follow to do this problem. Steps. your first step should always be, you should declare the relation. First declare the relation. You will not write it. This is how you do. In order to declare this relation, you should understand what are the two quantities in this chapter. Ekaksh, can you mute your line? But please mute your line. Okay. In order to declare the relation, you should understand what are the two quantities. I think there is a quantity called distance and there is a quantity called fuel. These are the two quantities. Agreed? So first, declare. These are steps in your mind. Okay, these are in your mind. And so first step, what we will write? We will write distance traveled is directly proportional to fuel consumed. This is our declaration. Understood? Once declaration is done, my next step would be box construction. And what is box construction? The same box which Abhiyan was trying to solve with me. Now we have to make our box. So let's make our box. So let's go by our box. So our box would be, this is how you get marks in this problem. When you make your box, make sure that you are writing this little bit, because you have only two datas. So keep this one long, and number of rows is equal to 3, right? And so what we write here? We write here distance. Mention what is the unit you are working on, kilometer. And you'll write petrol or fuel, whatever it is, and you are doing it in liters. Now, one scenario, if we look at the problem of Mr. Abhiyan, when this problem started, this data was provided, yes or no? So our problem now does not have 4 slots. We have only 2 slots. One slot will be provided in the question to you. Again, question comes, do I have the common sense to understand that? It is written, a car travels 432. 432, it travels in how much? 48 liters. They have asked it that if you make it 20 liters, then you put a question mark. This is what you don't know. And once you put a question mark, you can write here as X, because you don't know this. Understood? Now, third step. Third step is use your applicable relation. That is common sense only. Yes. Use your application relation, which is common sense. What is the common sense in direct variation? Head by tail should be equal to head by tail, or tail by head should be equal to tail. Do not crisscrosses. Head by tail is equal to head by tail, or tail by head is equal to tail by. But don't do this. If you somersault it, all you get is G. Pulla Reddy, pure ghee laddus, pure ghee. You want that? No. So our relation, let's use our relation. We will use here 48 or 432 divided by 48 is equal to X by 20. Now we have gone to which chapter? Linear equations in Okka variable. Just solve it. So how do you solve it? You can swap it also, right? So if you want more baby steps, we will take more baby steps. We are super babies. Super babies. So you write X is equal to 432 ye 20 log on each side divided by 48. My job is not to solve this. It's your job to solve. So let's try and solve this. How do you solve it? So let's take it with, say, 8 directly. 8 6 are 48. Then 8 5s are 40. And 32. 8 4s are 32. Then 6 9 is 54, and 9 into 20 is 180. At this portion, children take out their tail and start dancing. Sir, I got the value of X. I will again give you G. Pulla Reddy Laddu, because in the question it is written How far will it travel? X was your imagination. They did not ask you X. So, the step number 4 is conclusion of your answer. Conclusion. So, what is the conclusion? You write the car will cover a distance. Sarvesh is hating me for all this because for Sarvesh, only this part was interesting. And get the answer. Distance of 180 kilometers with 20 liters of Coca-Cola, petrol. Once you do this problem, and the teacher who must have fought in his house, if lady with her husband or husband with her wife, and then did not find the socks right on time, had a big traffic, then got your answer sheet. Ah, chala badi. Wow, 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 wow. Super, he has written 5. And if he's like Charvik, to make him more happy, 1 star also. Did you understand? But what you people do, you will anger the teacher double by jumping steps out from here. So if you prepare G. Pulla Reddy for the teacher will give you G. Pulla Reddy plus Sri Krishna sweets also. Double laddu. Store them in your house in refrigerator. Have you understood? I want you, more than this problem, this part to be written and memorized in your head. Declaration, baksa making, relation using, answer declaration. Yes, sir. Chapandi. 20 liters of condensed milk. Why do you need this? But you have got huge dependency. Did you solve this 180? So what is 180? What is 180? See here, 180 is here. That means when you fill 48 liters, you travel how much? 432. If you fill 20 liters, you travel how much? 180. Do you think your English is that bad that you will be able to write this? If I cover this also, don't you be able to write this? You can write, with 20 liters of fuel, the car will cover a distance of 180. When fuel is 20 liter, the car goes this. Car drinks 20 liter, car walks 180 kilometer. Your language. Just don't write anything nonsense out here. Some skibidi sentence, don't just make it. Otherwise, it becomes all a toss, right? You Gen Zs, low-key deads. You have to slay it. Get it? I know your language also. That's your language, right? You slay it. Yo, bro, you slay it. Just can't write something like Loki dead. Don't write anything skibidi. Have we understood? So our next class is tomorrow, which is on light. And I'm not giving you any maths homework as of now. So I will ask you that when we come for our next class on Wednesday, here we will start solving problems. So your job would be to watch the video and then come. Right, darling? Netflix, the new movie which comes up, Skibidi Toilet. Go and watch that video. Which video? Okay.